everyone, it's me, Aaron, Professor Thorgi, your guide to all things geeky, and January, despite being butt-ugly cold outside, is actually one of my favorite times of the year. And the reason for that is because January is the time of year in which I like to stop and look back at all the great stuff that happened last year, but also look ahead at all the cool stuff that's coming up this year. So, on this channel, I'm going to be pretty busy this month because I'm preparing a whole bunch of lists. A bunch of worst of and best of lists of 2015. So, to tie you guys over until all those are done, how about we do something fun? This is the top 10 films that I'm looking forward to in 2016. Now, before we get into the number 10 spot, I just want to go over quickly my runner-ups. These are films that I am indeed looking forward to, but for some reason or another, they just didn't crack the top 10, but I still want to talk about them very briefly. First up is Deadpool. Yes, I am looking forward to Deadpool. Deadpool is a great comic book character. He's really funny. People have been looking forward to him being adapted correctly for years now, and this looks like it might actually do that. However, I'll admit, I'm that one guy out there who, when he heard that this was going to be an R-rated comedy, actually got a little bit nervous because it's an R-rated Ryan Reynolds comedy. Yeah, listen, R-rated comedies can be great. There are a ton of great R-rated comedies out there, but there's also a lot of R-rated comedies out there that are just really lazy. And when you've seen as many movies as I have, you begin to realize that there are some writers and directors out there who just think that making a film R-rated is just a license to be able to get away with putting in there a gross sex joke or an absurd visual gag and thinking that that's enough to be a punchline. And I'll admit, when I saw that Deadpool trailer, about half those jokes were hilarious. Half those jokes were exactly what I wanted in this movie. The other half were those typical R-rated Ryan Reynolds comedy jokes that made me nervous. So I am indeed looking forward to this, but with a little asterisk, and then you look at the bottom and it says, hesitantly. Next honorable mention is Finding Dory. Now, this is the sequel to Finding Nemo, and Finding Nemo was amazing. That film blew me away. In fact, that might be the film that cemented for me Pixar as those guys who can take anything and make it a touching and moving story. However, I don't really feel like we needed a sequel to Finding Nemo. To me, Finding Nemo felt like it was complete. So yeah, I'm sure that Finding Dory is going to be great as well, but when I heard they were making a sequel to it, I was like, really? Out of all your movies, that was the one you're making a sequel about? Really? Not anything else that you might want to be making a sequel about? Yes, I know that they are making an Incredibles 2, I'm just saying they could have made it this year. Next honorable mention is The Conjuring 2. Now, I'm a big horror movie fan, and The Conjuring was one of my favorite horror films of the last decade. It didn't even really do anything new or have any new ideas to it. It just did that old haunted house stuff better than I have seen anyone do it in a long time. This is one of those movies that fixed so many of the problems I have with other horror films. They just nailed that creepy atmosphere, and I cannot wait to see the sequel to that film, because as we all know, whenever you have a great horror film, the second one is always wonderful as well, right? Just go ahead and put in there that hesitance asterisk again. Thank you. Now, my last honorable mention before we get to the actual list is the new Ghostbusters film. Now, this is an honorable mention because, yes, I'm a big Ghostbusters fan, but this is a film that people have been talking about for years. This is a film that has had people getting outraged or excited and ecstatic about. People have been going back and forth on both sides about this thing. I am in the camp of, I will not form an opinion on this until I have seen something on it. And all I have seen is set photos. And yeah, I want this to be good. I do. I really want this to be good. I want another good Ghostbusters film out there. I want Ghostbuster Fever to come back. I want that song to be recycled over and over again on every single radio station forever and ever and ever. But for God's sakes, this thing comes out in a couple months and we still haven't even gotten a teaser on this thing yet? So yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I really hope that this is good. But I haven't gotten anything on this yet. Like, they just showed off today the action figures for this thing. That's nice. Where's the trailer? But okay, enough with the honorable mentions. Time to get into the actual list. Number 10, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Okay, the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, I looked at that and I went, you know what this is? This is a really great fan-made tribute to the Turtles that lasted about 10 minutes, and then someone went in there and went, hey, we could turn this into an entire film. Pad that out with a whole bunch of April O'Neil, Megan Fox stuff, and do some goofy stuff with the cameraman, and throw in there a bunch of other humans who no way has ever heard of or cares about. Just fill it in with all that. And I watched this film, I was like, there's something there. There's some little tiny nugget that actually is a good Turtles film that just is covered in a mound of not good film. And I was not really looking forward to another one of these, but oh my god, if that trailer for the second film didn't just get me hyped. The trailer for this second film, it almost looks like someone went in there and just slapped the script out of whoever it was that made the last one and just went in here and went, okay, listen, this is how a Turtles film works. Because I watched this trailer and you've got the Turtle Van in there firing out the manhole covers, and you've got Baxter Stockman being a goofy nerd, and you've got the Shredder being the Shredder again, you've got the humans kept to a minimum and focusing solely on the Turtles the entire time, and you've got Bebop and Rocksteady in there being Bebop and Rocksteady, not being like the dark, gritty reboot version of Bebop and Rocksteady, not the, oh no, we need to go dark and realistic with Bebop and Rocksteady. No, you actually have Bebop and Rocksteady as Bebop and Rocksteady in that trailer, and you've got It's Tricky playing throughout the entire thing, which I have been on record as saying makes every trailer better. I don't know why I'm even saying this, because I know I'm gonna come to regret. I know that when this thing comes out, I'm gonna have to come back and go, I was wrong, I apologize for all that. But as of right now, it looks like they fixed this. It looks like they're actually going to give us a Turtles film. I'm hyped for that. Except, you know the deal. Next up at number 9, X-Men Apocalypse. Now this is the X-Men film that so many people have been waiting for since the very first X-Men film. In fact, when I was a kid and the first X-Men film came out, I had a friend who was a die-hard X-Men fan, and I remember when we went to go and see that film, the entire time we were driving there, he just kept saying to me, he's like, man, how come they don't have Apocalypse in the first movie? How come they don't have Apocalypse in there? And I was like, because he's the biggest guy. You save him for the end. You don't, like, introduce people with your biggest guy. Well, they're now bringing in the biggest guy. This is it. This is that moment that X-Men fans have been waiting for. And also, after that last X-Men film, after Days of Future Past, they've kind of got their magic back. They lost it for a little while, but they now kind of know what they're doing again. So yeah, I am really looking forward to seeing this adaptation. I'm looking forward to seeing the X-Men continue to be great again. Next up at number 8, I have 4 different movies. Yes, I know that sounds like I'm cheating here, but just hear me out because these 4 movies are all in one spot for a very specific reason. At number 8, World of Warcraft, Assassin's Creed, Ratchet and Clank, and Sly Cooper. Everybody's talking about how 2016 is going to be the year of the superhero movie. Listen, the last like 5 years have been the year of the superhero movie, okay? This is the year of video game movies. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are like, oh, there have actually been a lot of good video game movies. You people are insane, okay? There have been like 2 okay video game movies, and then the rest have been garbage. The rest have been so bad, and it's caused so many people to actually say, maybe you just can't make a good video game movie. Maybe you just can't make a good video game movie, which that's not true. Alright, you can make a good movie about anything, alright? It's just that Hollywood doesn't know how. Hollywood still looks at video games like, oh yeah, that's the fad that all the kids are into. Just throw something out there, they'll eat it up, we don't care. But this year, you have Assassin's Creed, which stars big name actors in a film that they've been working on for years, trying to get the script just right, trying to get the sayings and the tones just right. And you've got World of Warcraft, which is one of the biggest budget films that have been made in years. And you have an artsy director on there who jumped on not because he was forced to, not because it's like, it's a paying gig. No, but because he is a legitimate gamer and huge fan of World of Warcraft himself. He took this on as a passion project because he wanted to make sure that it got done right. And then you've got Sly Cooper and Ratchet and Clank, which are films that are actually being made in correlation with the people who make the games to begin with. So I'm putting them all at this one spot because yes, like I said, every single year whenever there's a bad video game movie, you hear someone come out and say, well, maybe you just can't make a good video game movie. We have 4 movies coming out this year, each with more effort being put into them than any other video game movie ever. One of them has to succeed. One of them has to finally break this curse. And if one of them doesn't, then you can pretty much just stick a fork in video game movies, cause if this year doesn't break that record, nothing will. Next up is Kubo and the Two Strings. Now this is a new stop-motion animated film from the same studio that brought us Coraline and Paranorman. Now Coraline, I absolutely love. I think that film was great, imaginative, well made, it had a touching story. In fact, I even think it's a little bit underrated. People praise that film, but I think it should be praised even a little bit more than it is. Paranorman, on the other hand, I'll admit I didn't really care about the story of it that much, but visually it was still amazing. It was still something that I was very glad that I saw in theaters. Now when it comes to this movie, I'll admit I don't really know anything about it. In fact, even the trailer for it was pretty darn cryptic. However, what I could tell from that trailer is that this movie is going to be imaginative and gorgeous looking. Those sceneries looked fantastic. I love the character designs, and this is a studio that, listen, I love animation, but when it comes to stop motion animation, it's just never really been my thing. But this is the one studio out there that can make stop motion that looks so freaking good that it just never fails to wow me. And this trailer makes it look like they're going to do that all over again. Next up at number 6, I have another tie. At number 6 is Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. Now once again, these two are on this list at this number for the exact same reason, and that is simply because I want the DC Cinematic Universe to grow already. We've only gotten one movie in this cinematic universe, unless you count Green Lantern, but let's be honest, nobody counts Green Lantern. We've only gotten one movie in this cinematic universe, and for 3 years I have had to hear this debate going back and forth over who has the better cinematic universe. You can't have that debate yet, because they only have one freaking movie. I'm looking forward to both these movies because finally we're going to see different sides of this universe. We're going to see different heroes getting introduced. We're going to see different tones. Granted, it's going to be an even darker tone with Suicide Squad, but it will be different sides of this universe with different characters, and they're going to build upon it. And when you finally start building upon it, yes, then you can finally start having that debate. Then you can finally have fans start arguing with each other. And don't get me wrong, I've said this many times before, but I would love it if both sides could come together and just go, you know what, even if I prefer this one thing, I still respect your side as well. And I know that that is not going to happen to everybody, but if both these films are good, it'll happen with some people. It will finally get some people to go, you know what, let's all just chill down and enjoy both sides of these franchises. Oh, I'm just kidding, that's not going to happen. But I can dream though. Next up at number 5, this one might come as a shock to you guys, but Kung Fu Panda 3. I honestly love the Kung Fu Panda series, I do, I gotta admit that. In fact, little confession, I have only ever pirated one film in my life. I don't really like the idea of pirating, I don't do it whenever I can avoid it, but I've only pirated one film in my life, and it was the Kung Fu Panda movie, and it was because when it came out, I was like, this seems like it might be okay, but I don't really have that much of an interest in seeing it, and I'm completely broke. And then all of a sudden one day I was just perusing around the internet and it popped up right in front of me, and I was like, screw it, I'll watch it. And when I watched it, I enjoyed it so much that I actually saved up my money afterwards so that I could go to the theater and buy an actual ticket for it, simply because I was like, no, this movie is so good, it needs my money. It deserves my money after that. And when the second film came out, I was there opening day to buy 3D tickets. And when I watched that sequel, I gotta say, I was really impressed. Kung Fu Panda 2 to me is one of those few sequels out there that I think is actually better than the originals because they actually progressed the story forward. They didn't do what so many other animated kids films do, in which they went, well, the first one worked, so let's just do all of that over again. No, they actually said, okay, how would these characters act after that first film? They actually progressed all of them forward. They progressed their friendships, they made them mature and grow, they progressed the entire world and this overarching story. And when I watched that film, I went, these guys have a big picture planned out. These guys actually have a big, long game movie planned out in which they're going to have a huge arc. So when I heard that they were going to actually make the third one, I was really happy because I knew that they would continue that. I knew that they would actually progress these characters forward, and I love when a film franchise is willing to do that. At number 4, Doctor Strange. Now, I was going to have this on this list already because it's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I honestly love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think that they have an amazing win ratio with their films, and also it was going to introduce magic to the Cinematic Universe, which we haven't really seen a lot of. In fact, we haven't seen anything, so it was a brand new side of this universe, so I was excited to see what they were going to do with that. However, we hadn't really seen anything from this film. They have been super secretive with this movie. All we knew was who they had cast in each role, and honestly, I think they cast some pretty good people in this film, so I was going to put on this list no matter what, just kind of low, kind of way down there. But the week that I'm recording this, they finally put out there the first images of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and I'll admit, I was not one of those people out there hating on Benedict Cumberbatch being Doctor Strange. I actually think that guy is a pretty decent choice for the role, but I did have concerns about how he would look, because I look at that guy and I'm like, he doesn't really look like Doctor Strange to me. I saw these photos, oh my god, that looks like Doctor Strange. That looks more like Doctor Strange than any other character playing any comic book character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was stunning to me how well they captured that. So, yeah, I'm down for this now. This is definitely a film that I'm looking forward to. That bumped it all the way from number 10 to number 4. At number 3, Moana. This is the newest film from Disney, and you might notice that Pixar didn't get on this list this year, but Disney did. And that's because, yeah, Pixar used to be the kings of the emotional, touching animated films, but after Wreck-It Ralph, Tangled, Frozen, Big Hero 6, I gotta say, Disney has swapped places with them now. Disney once again is back at the top. Disney once again is that animation company that whenever I hear they have something new coming out, I'm excited for it. Once again, this is a film that we have only really seen character designs for. We haven't really heard much about it aside from that, but it's Disney. It's an animated film from them. After their last couple of successes, that's really all I need right now. At number 2, Star Wars Rogue One. Now, I always liked the original Star Wars films, those first 3 films. I always thought that they were very, very good films. In fact, Empire Strikes Back, I would even say, is a great, fantastic movie, but I was never what you would call a Star Wars fan. I liked the movies, but I appreciated them as films. I never was like, oh yeah, I want to learn more about this universe. I want to delve into it. I want to find out about the extended universe, about all the other different stories in this universe. However, this year, or I should say last year at this point, geez, that's gonna take some getting used to. Last year, when Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens came out, that did it for me. That was the film that made me go, I want to know more about this universe. I want to see all the different stories in it. And yeah, I did have a problem with the fact that Star Wars The Force Awakens was repeating so many things from the previous films, but they've already done that. They had that film where they repeated all that stuff. Now everything else that we're going to get is just showing us new, different sides of this universe. Even stories that are repeating stuff that we have seen. Even this one, Rogue One, which is going to be the story of the people who stole the plans to the Death Star. Even that, I'm looking at like, this is going to give us some new stuff. And I cannot wait to see what they do with it. Honestly, Disney, I do not mean to kiss your ass too much on this list, but damn, you guys have proven to me that you know what you're doing when you buy up other people's franchises. Which leads me into number 1. You guys all know what it is. It's Civil War. Oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to Civil War. I'm not going to repeat all the different reasons why I'm looking forward to Civil War because I did a reaction video to that first trailer they put out, and that reaction video was me just losing my mind for 15 solid minutes. This is the sequel to Winter Soldier, which might be the best film that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has put out there, being made by the exact same people who made that one, and I had no idea how they were going to squeeze all this stuff in one movie. That one trailer made me look at it and go, oh, that's how you do it. Okay, now I get it. And that trailer just hit all the right fan buttons for me. Just seeing all the teams lining up there, seeing them all charging to battle together, seeing Cap and Bucky having a relationship together. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so touching. I even felt for the little touching moments between Steve and Tony. I've heard so many people say, oh, well, I didn't really buy the relationship between Steve and Tony. Listen, I'll give you that wasn't that well developed in the previous films. However, those guys fought killer alien invasions and robot armies. They had some kind of a connection. You can't go through that stuff together without forming some kind of a friendship with each other. So yeah, just watching this trailer, that trailer, it did it for me. It made me go, okay, I can get it now. I can believe it in this trailer. And Black Panther, oh my god, seriously, I love the fact that you have all of these heroes in that trailer, and the one who they paused to zoom in on was Black Panther, because they were like, yeah, we all know what you came for. And seeing him just roundhouse kick Bucky with both legs and running faster than cars, I was like, they're getting him right. they're going to get Black Panther right. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like I said, I'm not going to say everything that I said in that reaction video. I'm just going to link to it at the end of this video, but I am looking forward to this film so much. In fact, I will also go ahead and put a link to my Star Wars The Force Awakens review, since I'm looking forward to Rogue One so much. But for now, I want to hear from you guys. What are the films that you are looking forward to the most in 2016? In fact, let me also know, what was your favorite film of 2015? Let me know that in the comments down below. Okay, that's it for me, guys. I'm sorry, I got a little bit too excited and now I've got a sore throat, so I'm gonna have to calm down now. But for the time being, I just want to say thank you guys for watching this video. If you like what you saw here, then make sure that you share it all around the web. And make sure that you also hit that subscribe button right over there. You can also follow me on Twitter and Tumblr at Professor Thorgi. The address is right there. And like I said, you can click on the videos at the end of this to see more fun, geeky stuff from me. Thank you very much. Come back next time.